Greetings! This video is a short explanation about how to actually run the role performance breakdown and the combat log analytics for yourself. I try to do that very quickly. There is a separate video explaining how to read those properly and what information to extract from them. But first let's see how we can, or how you can run your copy for your reports, for the reports of your guild. So you need to have the link. We have the role performance breakdown here and the combat log analytics here. These are the public versions. The first thing that you want to do is to make a copy. We'll just do that. And after we made that copy, we need to enter at least 2, if not more, information. So the first thing is the API key. For that you can click on that link, which directs you to your profile. I already scrolled a bit down, and down here you can see a section with version 1 client name and client key. What you have to do is enter something in here. It could be a RPB, could be CLA, just the abbreviated names of the spreadsheets, or whatever suits you. Remember to hit set, otherwise this input is not actually taken into consideration, and then you will face an error afterwards. To the right, which is blurred here, is your client key, and you want to copy that from your Warcraft logs profile. Let's close that and enter it or copy it into this one. So this is just gibberish that I entered just to show what you should have here. Next thing, you need the link for the report you want to run it for. This is a report of one of my Gold DKP runs. I'll just copy that over here. And with the next checkbox, you can adjust if the name of the log, here it would be TK, SSC, yada yada, if that should be added to all of the sheet names. Alright, let me get rid of the filter. There you go. And that's basically already it. The next would be to just adjust what part of the report you want to run it for. These are these 4 settings over here. Is it trash and bosses, only bosses, with, without wipes, only trash? You can enter a specific fight ID. If we look back, let's say you just want to run it for Void Reaver. You click on the fight. Yeah, let's go back to Void Reaver. And you see this number, 15. You would enter 15 here. And this is not specific to Void Reaver. It's the 15th fight in that log, so you always have to get that number for your specific log. Or you can enter a start and an end date. By the way, whenever you see these black little triangles, they give you a bit more information about what to enter here and how to. Always hover them so you get some more info. What you can do is select a time frame. So I selected encounters and trash fights, and let's say I only want TK, I think, yeah, TK. And I know this is the time where we traveled between TK and SSC. So I can just click here, hold left click, select this time frame. And you can see in the start, in the top, you can now see a start and an end date. If I copy this over here, I could do something like this. Alright, so this is the start value from the log and the end value. And now it would only take this time frame into consideration when generating the spreadsheet. To have noted it, if you state a fight ID, that overrides all the other things. And in the last part over here, you could enter all the character names you want to run it for. let's say you are, I don't know, a very specific role in your guild, within your officer team, and you're only overlooking a subsection of raiders, you could enter the names here and then run it just for those. But there are other options to do that. I don't think many people will actually use that right now. On the right side, let's read all of those 4 lines quickly. Whenever you see a bold red italic number, that means that person used this spell, but most of the spell use, or the spell's usage, was with lower ranks, wherever lower ranks are suboptimal. Difficult to explain, but whenever you see that, that just means someone has a wrong keybind with a lower rank where he shouldn't. All the uptime for debuffs on bosses, etc., are bosses only unless it's stated otherwise. And yeah, only the things that are done in combat are analyzed. There are a few exceptions or things that carry into combat. I think most known is misdirection. You want to misdirect before the start of the fight, and those still show up on the spreadsheet. Alright, and that's it. We would hit 6, get report data, yeah? So we had 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5 would be a Discord webhook, which I'll show you in a second, but let's skip that for now. Hit number 6, and I prepared it, so if we look at my personal copy, I entered everything here, obviously still gibberish in the API key. I do have the report here. I do not want to have the names here, and I already did number 6. As it says here, step 6 is done. What you get is, for every single person in the raid, you get a lot of information, and if you scroll down, there is even more information and a lot of empty cells. This is just, let's say, the first step of generating the role performance breakdown. What you can do now is to enter all of the roles of the people. These are not assigned automatically, as getting the spec from logs is difficult, didn't work for a long time, and is still very scuffed. So adjust them for yourself. If you run it for the first time, it would just say healer for all druids, and then you could say, okay, this is a tank and this is a caster. For all subsequent runs, those will be remembered. If you want to update afterwards to a new version, you would make a new copy from the public spreadsheet, and then this is gone. But in the other video where I explain how to update, you can see how you actually carry over those settings, so you don't have to do that for all of your raiders again if you make a copy. Alright, so we adjust the roles, and then we hit 7, and that generates the spreadsheet. Let's do that without a webhook for now. In the background, there's a lot of stuff going on. Both steps, number 6 and 7, take like 3, 4, 5 minutes depending on how quick the Warcraft log server and the Google server are at that time. So just give it some time. We will run that in the background, and in the meantime we look at the combat log analytics. This is the combat log analytics, and again the same 4 things. We already have that prepared. While the other one is running, we'll talk about a webhook. A webhook is quite easy to set up. You just have to go to your Discord server, or actually to whatever channel you want to have it to appear. And let me show you that screen. There you go. So I just right click on a channel. This is the video guides on the Spreadsheets Discord and clicked on right click, edit channel, and then integrations. Here you have a section webhooks. You click create webhook, you name it, let's call it CLA, and then copy webhook URL. And when we go back to our spreadsheet, just enter this here. And that's it. Now all of the spreadsheets that you generate will be posted in that channel automatically. Pretty awesome, pretty easy. But let's look at the combat log analytics. It's a little bit different in the way that on the role performance breakdown you have two buttons, and then you have everything with an exported spreadsheet and everything. Combat log analytics is different because you have to start every single sheet, and there is a good reason for that. So let's run one of the sheets. This one is quite quick. Obviously not working because of the API key. Yeah. All right. Give me a short second. There you go. So we start this. And there could be a reason that for some of these sheets you want to have multiple of them. As you can already see down below, there is a fights SSC and a fights TK spreadsheet. We'll get to that, but let's say for the gear issues tab, we duplicate this one, and one should only show all the wrong enchants. Equip actually, all the items that have suboptimal enchants or are missing stuff, missing enchants, and so on. You would select ignore gems here, press start, and on the other one, you only want to look at wrong gems. And let's say you're fine with your raiders having blue gems, but they should have blue gems, but we select only gems. And if we compare these two sheets now, one only displays this, and the other one only the gems. So this would be one option where you want to have multiple sheets. Let's get that back to the preset values. Gear listing is mostly used if you want to export this to a guild spreadsheet or use this data to do stuff with. Buff consumables, very, very powerful tool. Though going in depth in all of these is a different video, as I said in the beginning. Just looking at what we can enter. So we can enter a start and an end date, as we've seen on the role performance breakdown for the sheet, if we just want to look at a subsection of the run. Same with the drums, and here we can't enter anything. This is just validating the run against the trash requirements that Warcraft logs communicated with everyone. Which is nothing because this is a boss only link. Very, very fair. If we look at this section though, the fights, as I talked before, we have a lot of things that we can do here. First and foremost, you have two lines of logs that you can enter. So if you omit this line, the report you had on the instructions page is taken for the left side of the comparison, of the compare. And the second one, if you leave this empty, the right side will be empty. Or if you specify this, you can compare your runs times for bosses and overall against the different guild, your previous week's run, whatever. And you can select which zone or speedrunning zone you want to compare this in. Let's say you have a log from one evening, was a long evening in phase 3, and you did Black Temple, then you did Mount Hygel, and then you even did SSC and TK. You had a lot of time, a long evening. And all of this is in one report, and you still want to compare your Black Temple times with Black Temple times and so on. You would simply make 4 iterations of the fights tab. You would say you are now the Black Temple one, and you are the Mount Hygel one. You keep to be the SSC one and the TK one. And you can run all of these, and all of these sheets, all of these iterations will be exported. Let's hide that quickly again. And we are back. So now if I click Start Export, all of the sheets I want to have exported. Maybe you don't need the gear listing when you give that sheet to your guild members or whatever. But for now, let's assume you want all of them. You would just start the export. And while this is getting exported, we go back to the role performance breakdown, where we can now see here we had step 6 is done. Now it says spreadsheet is done. If we click on that link, we now have what we had here with a lot of empty cells and everything split up into all of the roles. So you can see here casters and their usage of cooldowns, potions, damage they could have avoided or at least partly avoided but were hit by, and another one with their casts for every single class side to side. And this just keeps reiterating itself for all the roles. And this spreadsheet you can share. On this spreadsheet there is no information of your API key, nothing. You can just use this. Maybe you automatically set it up so it's posted to Discord via the webhook, and you can just keep the generating spreadsheet, which we call this one, your copy, and just share the generated spreadsheets. Alright, back to the combat log analytics. We had the export. Now it says here spreadsheet is done, and if we open that, we now have all the tabs. A little bit, here we have less information. All of the stuff raiders don't need to see is omitted. And you can see all of these tabs are here. You can rename them. You can already rename them here. And yeah, that is how all of the basic stuff works, how you get those spreadsheets to run and what exactly you can read from them, what informations are on each specific sheet we'll talk in a separate video, and how to update to a new version is also a separate video. I will link both in the description. Thanks a lot for watching and have a good day. Bye.